I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have a ton to say about Murderbot.
I don't either, but I
think it's fine. I think it's perfectly cromulent. Yeah. It's fine. It's really interesting. Going off of what we've been talking about, the idea of representing progressive ideals in a theoretically organic way is really interesting. The way that they approach that here. Yeah. It's also very grating at times and gets really old outrageously fast.
So let's do a quick Murderbot. Let's do it quickly, because I know we're running long. That was
really like the only thing I had to say.
Okay, so we're running long. So really, okay, for those of you who don't know, there's the show Murderbot.
It's on Apple.
On Apple TV.
It stars Alexander Skarsgård.
And he plays Murderbot. He is quite easily the best part of the whole show.
He's the only reason to watch the show.
Yeah.
Our boy David Dashmalian shows up as his kind of counter, and he's fine. I wish he had a little bit more to do. There's a lot of interesting...
Murderbot's inner dialogue is awesome. And the show he watches in his head that has like...
That's not Star
Phil
Trek.
Coulson, and it has
Jack McBrayer.
And
John Cho.
John Cho. All these great people. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's going back to the Spider-Man thing. It's a reminder of why I think voiceover is inherent and super important to Spider-Man stories.
Yes.
Because when he's swinging around town, that's when he's thinking about stuff. Yes. And he's not saying it to himself. He's just thinking about what's going on. I got to find Doc Connors. I can't be late for this date with Mary Jane. How do I make this deadline that I have to make?
Exactly.
I opened a door that opens a door to tomorrow, and tomorrow the world is destroyed. What do I do about that?
Yeah. And I got to say, Murderbot's ending was terrible.
Yeah. What was that?
It was... The way I take Murderbot, it should have been like a 2.5-hour movie.
Yeah.
Because, once again, the skeleton of it and the character of Murderbot, enjoyable. A lot of the extra stuff...
It gets so stretched thin.
It really does.
Like, we spend so much time with this throuple, and
they're
discussing this contract that they have with each other about how their relationship is going to be. And it just... Every time Roddy talks, I'm just like, what do you bring to anything?
The only two characters I gave a shit about in the show was Murderbot and the Captain.
I like the Captain. I found it really weird that they tried to sexualize her so often.
Yeah, especially with her, David Dustman. I'm like,
that was fucking weird. They have this like 60-year-old woman, and they're trying to sexualize her with like Murderbot and David Dashmalian. And at one point, one of the throuple people is like, "Oh, she's so hot." What is this? Why is this a thing?
That was the uncomfortable thing with me, is the underlining sexuality of the show. It's like, okay, so you made this group of scientists out to be all right, we're the hippie scientists, so that means we gotta fucking
We're way more hippie and dippy than anybody else has ever been.
Yeah, and it's like, you don't need, and this goes back to my thing, which I stick to with Star Wars. You don't need sexuality. You don't need to put sex in everything. You can have just people that, hey, we're just scientists that are doing science shit, and yes, we believe in, like, we don't believe in murder, but then we're also fucking, and like, there's this underlying sexual thing.
There's like so many weird sexual things, and then they get like weirdly offended when people equate them to kind of these sexual deviants.
Yeah.
And so like this one person shows up who's on the bad guy side. She shows up as a mole. And she just talks all the time about putting different dildos on Murderbot.
Yeah.
She has, like, extensive descriptions of the dildos she wants to put on Murderbot.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, that's weird. But then you have this conversation with this throuple, and they're all rubbing each other's backs, and you're just like, how is this different? There's a news conference at the end where they're trying to raise the stakes against the corporation that has kind of set them up for failure. And one of the reporters talks about whether it's true on their planet that they can get married to sex bots. And the crew is just like, what does that have to do with anything? But at the same time, it's kind of been part of their whole deal. Like, I don't know. There were a lot of moments that I really wanted to like it. And then there were just like, it would just kind of steal the floor out from under you. And you'd be like, and now there's two bugs fucking on the ship.
Oh my God.
And this is going to become integral to the plot because they're going to leave egg sacs on the ship. And if anybody touches the egg sacs, then the monsters come back and kill them.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know, man.
Well, and I think this issue is my running issue with most of the inclusion thing. Not everything has to have sex in it.
No.
You don't need to, like, you don't need to have characters sexually. You don't.
You were doing great. You could have stopped at having the non-binary person and the woman that she's married to.
Yeah.
Who are part of the throuple. And then this other guy comes into the throuple. And the idea is like, the woman is attracted to the guy is attracted to the non-binary person, the non-binary person is attracted to the woman. And it's supposed to be like this funny triangle. Oh, everybody loves somebody, but they don't love the person they're supposed to love. Oh. No, this is a waste of time.
It was such a
It's a massive waste of time. It's never funny.
No.
You could have just as easily had the non-binary person and her wife. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And that would be way more progressive than so many things we've seen.
Yeah.
And instead you do this whole weird throuple contract thing. There's some interesting things here. There's a lot to be said about some of the characters are very autistic coded, which is both good and bad.
Yes.
Because it turns out that it's mostly the robots that are autistic coded. Mostly they say, I don't like making eye contact. And they are very uncomfortable in social situations. And so, like, I don't love that we're continuing this line of like, oh, autistic people are robots. They don't know how emotions work. It's like, no, that's a drastic oversimplification of things. But it's interesting to see it here.
Yeah.
David Dashmalian does a good job being this anti-point to Murderbot. None of it builds anywhere.
No, not even a little bit.
To the point where when it's revealed what this has all been about, it's kind of just like an offshoot line that you have to, like, someone tossed you a bag of Legos and now you have to put it together and you're like, oh, it was alien remnants. That's why all this was happening. Oh, okay. It was money. Okay. But, like, it's never... I'm not saying they have to say it directly, but I felt like that reveal was kind of anticlimactic in a lot of ways.
I agree.
And I think a lot of the show is anticlimactic.
I agree.
I like that it's 20 minutes long. I like that it's a clean 20 minutes.
It's a very clean 20 minutes.
But, like, man, I wish the show was better. It's not bad. It's nothing. It's a full neutral.
It's a C+.
I have it at, like, a B-. Yeah,
it's in that range.
Fine. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but I wouldn't tell people not to watch it. You know?
I almost would because the ending was such a letdown.
The ending is just like, I'm going to ruin it for everybody right now. Spoiler warning. The ending is just, everybody works really hard to get Murderbot back on the team after they leave this planet that they're trapped on. And Murderbot is repossessed by the company that owns it. And this whole hippie commune is like, well, you can't own a person. And it's like, well, he's a robot. He's not really a person. He has organic parts, but he's not a person. And the captain's like, I believe he still has his memories of us. And it's like, no! He doesn't. He's a robot. You need to wake up and understand that he is a robot. And so they go through all of this rigmarole to get Murderbot back and put his memories back in his body and reboot him. And they're all like, come and live with us in our society. And he's like, no. And he dips. Yeah. He goes. And that's the end of the show.
Yeah. He's like, no, I'm free now. Fuck you. And he's gone.
I don't want anybody, even people I love, telling me what to do.
Well, and that's the thing is, I don't know if he ever really loved them. He
doesn't.
He hated those fucking people.
He tells us on numerous occasions that he doesn't understand the concept of love.
Yeah.
He can't. He understands it in dynamics, but he can't feel it. He doesn't own those emotions.
And then the fact that they always put him in those situations that made him uncomfortable.
Yes.
He just fucking hated their guts.
Yes.
And
no,
then it's like,
he made it extremely clear very often that he had no connection to any of these people, but to the degree where he kept on calling them his clients.
Yes.
He just refers to them as his clients.
Yeah, my clients.
Yeah. And they're just like, oh, we love you. Come live with us. And he's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And there's kind of a moment of like, oh, good for you. But also, what the fuck was the point of all of this? We don't even get an answer to, did he kill 60 people?
Yeah.
We don't get an answer to that. No. There is no answer. Maybe.
Was it him or was it a different Murderbot?
Or did they put those memories in him? Did they override his system and make him do it? Ultimately, none of this matters because we're never going to get an answer on any of it.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's just...
Which, honestly, it's a lot of Apple TV shows.
Yeah. Apple, in my experience, in my limited experience with Apple, the way that an Apple TV show goes is, wow, this is really highly produced. This looks a lot better than I thought it would. This looks like a Netflix show, but with more money. There's a lot of Apple products here. We're getting into kind of the same flow state of the same conversations and the same plot points and the same conflicts in every show.
Yeah.
And none of it's bad, but none of it is dynamic or good, I think, with the exception of Ted Lasso. And you're just kind of left like,
well, like the
okay.
First, I adore the first 2 seasons of Mythic Quest. Adore it. And then that fucking jumped the shark. And, like, I started watching this latest season.
Yeah.
Couldn't. Like, the characters I just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like they wrote this really good show, but then they got off the initial premise for the third season, and it just went to shit.
That's what I'm wondering about with Ted Lasso, is that we've... Admittedly, the point of Ted Lasso falls within the rubrics of what they're going to do.
Okay.
So Ted Lasso starts as I believe he's a college football coach in Kentucky or Kansas, and he gets hired to coach English football. And there's this whole thing of like, he doesn't even know the sport, blah, blah, blah. It's really cute. I really like it. Now he's leaving his team in England and he's going to go and coach, I think, a women's rugby team. And I get it, but I do feel like this should just be its own show.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be Ted Lasso anymore. This should be something else.
Well, and this is the problem where writers... okay, so you got the two things. You have shows like that where the writers need to look at their next season and be like, okay, this sucks. We need to just end it. Or then you have shows like Murderbot where it's like, okay, it's not great, but I do kind of want to know what's going to happen, but we're probably never going to see a season 2.
No.
My wife Audrey and I we were talking about that with Netflix shows. Netflix is famous for that, to where they'll put a show out and you'll be like, hey, I kind of like this. Oh,
it's only
it's
getting
just
2
one
seasons.
season.
Yeah, it only has 1 season.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And then you're just stuck. And it's like, God damn.
Well, that's where
dude.
Sandman is. Sandman, which we'll also talk about on the show eventually. Yeah. Maybe that's my watch, play, read next week. We'll see. I don't know how pot committed you are to Sandman at this
Well,
point.
I'm thinking we do not this Sunday, but next Sunday show. So I'm going to try to watch it all between now and then.
Good luck.
I
It's
know,
a haul,
I
baby
know,
boy.
I know.
No, Sandman is under the same rubric of, here's season 2, we're not making any more.
Yeah.
And so the entire time, you can just see all these railings lining up to kind of finish everything off, and you're kind of like, okay, that's fine, but at the same time, I don't really feel like there's natural momentum to the story. There's momentum in the same way that Game of Thrones Season 8 had momentum in that it had to end. So now it's just ending, and whether you like the ending or not is going to be extremely subjective.
Speaking of which, this podcast has to end. It has to fucking end. Ladies and gentlemen, this
is going to be 2 shows.
episode...
We may not even do a show on Sunday. No. I may cut this in half and do 2 shows.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a very girthy episode 169.
We literally talked about Marvel for an hour.
And I knew we would.
Yeah.
That's why I had to talk about that, because I knew this had to happen.
Yeah.
Fuck. Episode 169, Nerdpod Generations, is in the books. Fucking, we have a website, nerdpodgen.com. Go there, look up stuff.
Kortney
look at
Howell,
our past episodes.
Kortney Howell made our art. Brendan Williams and James Connolly made our music. I'm Alfred Judson. I'm tired.
And I'm getting Taco Bell.
I'm
tired
so
too.
fucking hot. We'll see you when we see you. Possibly for the NFL show, maybe for Sandman. Who can fucking say?
Fucking peace out.
See you later, Florence and Enemies.